So again, thanks for choosing us. This is JoyNews, independent, fearless and credible. The Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Brahma, has described the order by the Traditional Council of Kumasi for Oyerepa FM to be shut down as an act of censorship. The council says the station offered their platform to the 2020 presidential candidate of the United Progressive Party, Akwesi Dai Odike, to allegedly insult the Asantehene and accuse his chiefs of complicity in illegal mining. But speaking on news text, Mr. Brahma said the Traditional Council must use due process of law to address their grievances.
That's why I say it's clearly the exercise of traditional power to censor a media organization. I don't think that the Kumasi Traditional Council would want to say that if you're a radio station in Ashanti region, don't talk about chiefs. In any case, when it comes to the issue of Galamsey, which Odike was talking about, last year, Otunfo himself at a public forum talked about the alleged involvement of chiefs in the Galamsey exercise, or at least their support in the activities of Galamsey, and warned that certain chiefs are even under investigations by him, and if it is established that indeed they are involved or they support the activities of Galamsey, he would not hesitate to exert the heaviest sanctions against them. We know that Galamsey activities are ongoing in the Ashanti region just as it is in other parts of the country. The point is that if you are a chief, and powerful as they are, and Galamsey activities are ongoing in your area, rivers and water bodies are being destroyed, forest reserves are being destroyed, and you say you are powerless, you cannot do anything, even as your traditional area or your jurisdiction is being destroyed. And then somebody talks about the fact that, look, unless a chief is involved or knows about it, these Galamsey activities cannot happen. I think what the person really is saying is that the chiefs are so powerful that unless they know about something or they permit something, it cannot happen. How does that constitute an insult? Is it the case that when Otunfo said about this, literally the same thing last year, the chiefs couldn't act because that was coming from Otunfo, and this one came from Odike? Like I said, we revere our traditional leaders. We know they are embodiment of our culture, our heritage, the traditional knowledge, and they are embodiment of wisdom. There's no doubt about that. But I think the power that the chiefs have is not because they command any powerful military. It is because we revere them for the institution that, you know, they hold on to, the dignity that, you know, is accorded those institutions. But if they begin to now take the laws into their own hands, because if you don't comply, people will come and attack you or will show you where power lies. If it goes on like that, like I said, every chief will now begin to act in their own jurisdiction in a powerful way that would undermine the democratic society that we are all developing.
Now, this incident comes just weeks after the Adan Traditional Council barred Radio Adan from covering the Asafotufian Festival. Suleiman Brahma wants the National Media Commission to take a strong position on this trend.
I think it's important that beyond this incident, we have a national dialogue about what chiefs can do, what chiefs cannot do, in the context of media freedom, in the context of press freedom. That is not to say that journalists can do whatever they want to do on air. I mean, professionalism is the cardinal.
Well, the Ghana Journalists Association has also been speaking about this incident. They are calling on the Kumasi Traditional Council to exercise restraint. We can hear from the Ashanti Regional Chairman, Kingsley Hope.
Dealing with it.
Yeah, I just got some feedback from the meeting that was held this afternoon. And as I just want to put it this way, that Menchia is one of the establishments in Ghana that many of us hold in high esteem. The fact that it is the seat of the Asantehene, that is the seat of the goodness too. And so to kind of berate Menchia is like speaking negatively against, you know, the presidency, which is not the best for us as a democratic nation. But what has happened, I think, stems from, as we have said, a program that was hosted on their network, or European network, last week, where the founder of the United Progressive Party Mr. Kosia, the popular known as Odike, was said to have denigrated the palace when he made some comments about Galamsey in the region, which did not go well with the Menchia. Otunfo himself is not in the country. And the information I'm getting that they are asking the radio station to go off air until Otunfo comes for the matter to be determined.
From the GJA's point of view, is this something that you want to take up?
Yes, I will be informing the national executives about it, so that in the case of, just as in the case of the Oti Ada radio station incident with the traditional council there, where the leadership in Accra or the national leadership went to kind of resolve the issue. I believe that Menchia Palace should exercise kind of restraint, to use due process of law to address the concern. I believe Menchia could even petition the National Media Commission, to take the matter from there. I think you will agree with me that Oyerepa has no kind of a contract with Menchia, and so if there is anything, the authorities concerned monitoring the media landscape should be the entity to kind of address some of these issues. So it is my plea, even before we take the matter up to the national executive, to also come in to plead with Menchia to exercise restraint, not to kind of hammer too hard, the head of the Oyerepa radio station, because if you are going to deny them of revenue, Otunfo is not here, and no one knows the time they will be coming.
But the station has complied with the directive of the Kumasi Traditional Council. My colleague Nanaya Ojima was there a while ago.
The management of Oyerepa FM and also some staff, that is the morning show host and other people who are involved with the morning show, were at Menchia Palace, and where they tried to apologize to the Menchia Palace for the comments that Mr. Kwesi Adewodike made on their platform. Now, their argument is that even though their morning show host allowed him to completely make the allegation about the chiefs concerning their involvement, what is alleged to be the chiefs' involvement in Galamsey, he also tried, as the morning show host tried, to whip Mr. Odike in line. And at a point, he had to change the subject of discussion due to the nature of what Mr. Kwesi Adewodike was saying, or according to the radio station, whatever Mr. Kwesi Adewodike was saying wasn't in line with what they were discussing. So they had to change the topic. They were not expecting him to veer into that space. So the morning show host had tried his best to whip him in line, and also at a point had to change the topic. So this shows their remorse, and they went to apologize. But the Menchia Palace says, since the issue was still being discussed by the Menchia Palace, or the matter was still being the chiefs were still trying to get Mr. Odike to get his side of story and discuss the issue further. If Oyerepa FM would want to show their remorse, they should shut down for today or till the end of this discussion before the Menchia Palace accepts this apology that Oyerepa FM is giving. Therefore, today, in compliance with the directive, they've decided to shut down. Meaning Oyerepa FM is now off air. But the Promise Media operates both Oyerepa FM and Oyerepa TV, and some of the shows are exclusive to Oyerepa TV, including the morning show on TV. So for this reason, the TV this morning went ahead with the morning show, and the host sat in and had the normal or usual programming.
And now, Jima, with that report. Now, away from that, angry residents of Maamobi hit the streets Thursday to protest the decision of the Yawaso North Assembly to evict them. The Assembly issued a notice to some residents asking them to vacate the area within 3 weeks to give way for the construction of a modern apartment. But some of the residents who've lived there for about 30 years say 3 weeks is simply not enough. They're asking for at least a year to allow them prepare to relocate. My colleague Michael Ashele was there and now reports.
Residents of Maamobi in red and black on the streets of Accra protesting plans to demolish an area they have lived for many decades. They have been issued eviction notices by the Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly. Per the notice, they have up to 21 days to vacate the area, but the residents are unhappy. JoyNews understands the area has been designated by the local assembly for a market.
One month, 2 weeks, baby, and I did a CS. I can't move. Because of the situation, I can't stay in the house. This is the baby.
Margaret Sediwoji Ziga is a mother of 3. The mere thought of having to leave moves her to tears.
Life is difficult. I've not been working for almost, let me say, a year plus. Because for 9 good months, I've stayed in the house. My husband, he's no more working. And we are in the house. One of our firstborn is writing exams this very year, and the other ones are also here. This the second one, the third one, and the other one too. So we are begging the government, please, he should let us stay, please.
Her son, Nelson Ziga, also joined the protest. He says his education will be truncated should they be asked to relocate.
Maamobi is my best house. I want they should give us some month to live there because we can't use 1 month to live there.
I mean, if you are asked to leave, how would that affect the education that you are having?
They can repeat me. They can repeat me in another school.
Margaret and her son are just 2 of the thousands that will be affected by the move. They are asking for more time.
But you see, I know what sitting on so saying.
You many baby abatina, me kuno so yare, many baby me di ku krako. Nti o wadam, minya sika susu.
Nti anka o pese ye modern sisi, e ma mumre kakra.
We are pleading for the government that at least if you should see us and at least give us some time. You understand? Even if some compensation self and relief, why not? It's okay. But to me, if like give us time, oh okay, because of this, we will give us time like this. You understand? Then everybody have agreed on it. Then we went. But you
people, this is our room. They are attacking us. Where are we going to? We have nowhere. God help us. Oh,
Pacho, yes, sir. 28 days nation. Mesromo for America crank my no be a koto mutima bese 1 year, 2 years. Never ye prepare.
Assemblyman for the Maamobi electoral area, Wisdom Boaten, is asking government to intervene.
We are saying is that we cannot litigate with the state, and therefore the state should intervene with this issue. And also to talk to Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly, the MCE, Honorable Aminu Zakari Mohammed, that we are Ghanaians. We are not disputing the fact that the land belongs to the state, but at least they should have a human face.
Countless petitions that have been sent to the MCE for the Ayawaso North area, together with the Member of Parliament and some notable government agencies, have failed to yield the needed results. They are hoping that this protest will bring them respite. Government will give them some more time before they are asked to evict. For JoyNews, Michael Ashale.
A former rector of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, Professor David Oforeje, has called for effective monitoring policies to track the actual performances of certified specialists. According to him, this will help preserve acceptable standards and improve the quality of their outputs. Professor J said this during the annual symposium of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons held here in Accra. JoyNews' Tasha Michelle was there and now reports.
The health sector is a critical sector in every society. When it becomes faulty, the results are undesirable. Against this backdrop, former rector of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, Professor David Oforeje, wants new health specialists to comply with the protocols in the field.
Now we have lots of specialists driving around Accra, sometimes causing traffic jam. But the question we need to ask ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, where are they? You are producing, but where are they? What are they doing? Are they fit for purpose? And I think it is time for us to do an audit so that we can refocus if the need is there or do better what we have done so far. Professor Ladewo Sogu and myself did a paper while at terminal stages of my rectorship to look at where our graduates are, what they are doing, and whether what they are doing is fit for the purpose that we trained them. There were some weaknesses in the system, and we were hoping that subsequently this will be addressed. But we have made great strides in addressing the human resource challenges that this country faces in health. And the establishment of other colleges makes this a clean area to look at. So ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to do is to look at the footprints.
Speaking on behalf of the Health Minister, Head of Midwifery and Nursing at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Barnabas J, had this to say.
In our current dispensation, we need exceptional leaders in medical education and development. We also need leaders who are visionary, transformational, innovative, and above all, ethical to secure the medical education for our country. The power of good leadership is therefore crucial as a country as we strive to attain USC. The Honourable Minister would like to thank the college once again for recognizing the good work of Professor Samuel Ofosu and his contribution to the health sector as a whole, especially in pediatrics and public health.
The symposium was held in honor of Professor Samuel Ofosu Ama for his contribution to training public health aspects and developing Ghana's health sector through his remarkable leadership in the academic and public sector. In the absence of the honoree, his wife, Mrs. Virginia Ofosu Ama, received the citation and thanked the Institute for recognizing the efforts of her husband.
I feel completely overwhelmed, and I would like to thank all of you for finding time to be here this evening to honor my wonderful husband. I would especially like to thank the Faculty of Public Health of the college for organizing this symposium and for this initiative. Thank you all very much.
According to some attendees, the impact of Professor Samuel Ofosu Ama does not only relate to his work in Ghana, but his global exploits as well. Tasha Michelle's report read to you.
The British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, is asking President Akufo-Addo to demonstrate his stance with the citizenry by cutting down the cost of running his government. Harriet Thompson has been speaking exclusively to JoyNews.
But what would you say about government's handling of the situation in itself, for instance, such that it can prevent what you're talking about, that you don't see it happening?
I know that government is discussing with the IMF particularly what are the right ways to get the situation under control. It's challenging, right, because there are things that government needs to keep spending money on to support the population. At the same time, they need to identify those areas where they can draw back, where they can scale back. So looking really hard at how to reduce the cost of government, reduce the cost of some of those social intervention programs whilst maintaining that support for the people who really need it. It's a big challenge. So we've got a line open, we're exchanging ideas and views and so on, but it's a really difficult situation that the government find themselves in.
Well, that line that's open between you and government, for instance, you talk about cost of government in terms of the things that they need to cut back. Size of government, part of it. Are there any other key areas that you're hoping that government would take a look at to be able to take us out of the situation?
One of the things that I talk to them about is my own experience as a UK civil servant, where over the years since I've started, more years than I care to mention, we've gradually seen just the belts being tightened and economies being made, and it's at quite a low level. For example, no more free coffee and tea for civil servants, no more biscuits in meetings for civil servants, and it's all things that at the time caused huge kind of, oh, they're taking this away from us, and now it's just normal and nobody expects that should be provided, and people think very hard about how taxpayers' money is spent in an appropriate way. And for me, as a British civil servant, the taxpayer shouldn't be buying my coffee and tea.
So some of these things for you should go as a way.
So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that the government of Ghana is providing free coffee and tea for civil servants. I'm saying that really looking at the cost of government is an important place to start, including because people need to see that we are in this together, and that the pain that is sadly undoubtedly going to remain for a while as the world comes through these economic challenges, we need to be sharing that pain.
And the UK High Commissioner to Ghana, Harry Thompson, has been speaking exclusively to JoyNews. The full interview will air on The Probe. That's this Sunday, August 28th, with MFR Paul. You want to make a date with that. President Akufo-Addo has just ended his 3-day tour of the Upper West region, commissioning the Kalio Solar Power Plant, cutting salt for work to begin on the 2-kilometer Nandom Dualization Road project, and inspecting other ongoing works in the region, especially Agenda 111 Hospital project. Laced in the visit was humorous side of the president. JoyNews' Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam captures those moments in the following report.
President Akufo-Addo may have ended his 3-day tour of the Upper West region and left back to Accra en route Damongo and Tamale. However, his broad smile, comic statements, and frank talk, or probably better put, truth in harmony, churned out from his baritone voice during the 3-day tour that generated laughter, is still the talk of town.
Solidly for the National Democratic Congress. Solidly.
First was at Kalio during the commissioning of the solar power plant, where he spotted one personality whose name is synonymous with demonstrations in the country. The president wonders if the unrepentant demonstrator has brought it to his home constituency.
And I'm happy to see my good friend Bernard Mona here. Even though initially I thought on seeing him that the demonstration had been transferred from Accra here to Kaleo.
Next was at Wuchao, where President Akufo-Addo lamented about the continuous rejection of the MPP by the people, despite the maze of projects bequeathed to them.
Jonah, we have had 8 elections in Ghana in the time of the Fourth Republic. 1992, 1996, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, and 2020. In each one of these elections, while west of which Wuchao is the district capital, has voted solidly for the National Democratic Congress. Solidly.
He however charged the people to lead a crusade of the MPP breaking the 8th agenda. He then zeroed in and Dick Addy, Member of Parliament, Peter Lanchine Tubu, a consummate retired police superintendent.
Mr. MP, I know you're here. But we have to look at who is responsible for the state of affairs in Wild West. You can be sure that it is not the New Patriotic Party. Now we are here and we have started dealing with some of the problems that you have had all these years. I would hesitate in saying that it would be great if, having seen the positive things that we're doing in Bujao and in Wild West, the Wild West will take the lead in 2024 in breaking the 8 in the Upper West region. I know my friend the MP will be out of a job, but he doesn't have to be worried. The next MPP government will take care of him. He shouldn't worry about it.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Now, the British High Commissioner to Ghana, Her Excellency Harriet Thompson, has been speaking about the benefits of the UK government's scholarship schemes to African economies. Yesterday, she held a farewell reception for about 45 African nationals, including 16 Ghanaians, who have won scholarships to study in the UK this year. The Smona following report.
The 45 awardees include 16 Ghanaians. They are beneficiaries of the Commonwealth, Chevening, and Great Scholarship schemes. The program seeks to empower the African continent by closing the leadership gaps existing in governance structures. Harriet Thompson is British High Commissioner to Ghana.
We're celebrating 3 scholarship schemes this evening: Commonwealth, Chevening, and Great Scholarships. The Chevening Scholarship is explicitly about allowing people from around the world to benefit from that world-class education that's available at British universities, people who wouldn't normally be able to use it. But a condition is that they go back to their country afterwards to benefit their country of origin, wherever that might be, from the study that they've undertaken, from the networks that they built in their year in the UK.
President of the Chevening Alumni Association of Ghana, Ebenezer Amankwa, wishes to see a rise in the number of individuals given the opportunity each year. He explains why.
Well, in my time, 1,500 people applied and they chose only 5. So the limited number of places. Now here it's gone beyond 15. But still, there could be an opportunity for opening up the number of people who get opportunity, because we have a lot of talent in this country who can benefit from the scholarship.
Some of the beneficiaries spoke to JoyNews about the application ordeal and the anticipation of new learning experience.
First of all, applying for Chevening is a very competitive process. About 58,000 people apply from all around the world, and only about 3% of the people are selected. So I'm fortunate to be selected for the 2022-2023 cohort. I work with disabilities in Ghana, and I'm very proud to go to London, go and acquire new knowledge and new skills, to come back and apply this knowledge into the work I do.
It was a lot of competition. We put a lot of preparations into it, and eventually, by God's grace, we are part of the 3% who was chosen from Ghana, and I'm actually very excited.
I'm just excited, and I'm looking forward, in fact, to renovate the health system in my country when I will come back.
The scholarship scheme, since its inception in 1983, has developed into a prestigious and highly competitive international awards program. For JoyNews, Ifwa Preko report read to you.
You're watching News Today with me, Ernest Manu. We're taking a short break. When we return, Daryl will bring us business, then we'll have sports plus showbiz. All in this hour. Stay with us.
Hello, good afternoon. It's time to do business. My name is Beverly Broom. Application for tax clearance certificates will be done through online processes from October this year. It is expected to eliminate the incident of fake tax certificates and corruption associated with tax clearance in the country. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia explains that many other digital reforms are underway to make tax payment easier. He was speaking at the 10th Annual International Tax Conference in Accra with a focus on improving domestic tax revenues.
Annual International Tax Conference by the Institute of Taxation Ghana is under the theme Improving Domestic Tax Revenue Mobilization a consultative and inclusive approach. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia explains that many other reforms are underway to make tax payments easier for businesses and individuals. He is confident that the introduction of an automated tax clearance certificate will be a game changer for taxation in Ghana.
The automations of repetitive tasks, these repetitive tasks are aimed at reducing the discretionary use of powers and its attendant corruption or alleged corruption by public officials while promoting voluntary compliance and friendly taxpaying environment. So from the foregoing, it is evident that the issue of fake tax clearance certificates will be a thing of the past. Delays will be eliminated and there will be enhanced transparency through the automatic verification and electronic issuance of the tax clearance certificate to the taxpayer and the requested institution.
Meanwhile, tax consultant Dr. Abdallah Ali Nacha urged the Ghana Revenue Authority to reprofile the country's tax population. According to him, this will help bridge the tax deficit gap since many businesses will be added onto the tax net.
How to identify the institutions which will partner, DVLA, Lands Commission, to look at all the tax gap. And then we are also saying that immediately we are able to create the forum to allow stakeholders to engage and also give their contribution, it will help. I have that challenge when after the e-levy, we were now having town hall meetings. My question was that, do we get married before we go for marriage counseling? It's the other way around. So that was the missing link of the engagement and inclusiveness before the tax. Then we will get people to be able to buy in.
The International Tax Conference is a 3-day event hosted in Ghana for tax practitioners in Africa.
AgriHouse Foundation, and a Greek non-governmental organization in partnership with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, has launched the 4th edition of the Livestock, Poultry and Fisheries Training and Trade Show. Executive Director of AgriHouse Foundation, Alberta Kosa, says the success story of participants motivated her outfit to keep the program going yearly.
The Livestock, Poultry and Fisheries Training and Trade Show, LIPF, is a program that provides the missing platform where livestock, poultry and fisheries farmers, alongside all stakeholders in the sector, can share experiences and have their common concerns addressed to scale up animal farming. The program is an initiative of AgriHouse Foundation. Executive Director of the foundation, Alberta Kosa, says she's proud LIPF is living up to expectations and pledged to do more.
Though not like 20 or 30 at once, but some of the successes that propel us to go on and believe that within for a year, 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7, 10 years, 11 years, we'll be able to change the face of agriculture when it comes to livestock and get more people to appreciate it and then jump on it when it comes to this sector.
Business Development Manager at Israeli Trade and Economic Mission, Kek Amwa, outlined a series of activities to be done as proof of his outfit's drive to impact Ghana's agriculture sector.
When we're in Israel in May, we realized that livestock is a big part of their cultural processes in Israel. Israel is very good in dairy processing and also in aquaculture. They have a worse climate than us, but they seem to farm more fish than we do, and even in poultry. So this year, I thought it wise that we need to collaborate with AgriHouse on the livestock event. We'll be introducing some Israeli technologies in the sector, in dairy processing, the pharmaceuticals, in the feed, and all the different processes in the value chain in cattle farming. This is the first step of the series. I think the next event we'll have will be in aquaculture and also in fisheries. Just to mention that Israeli companies are very open to doing business in Ghana.
For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Up next is sports. My name is Beverly Broom.
Good afternoon. Time now for sports on JoyNews. Today with me, Muftao Nabila Ablai. The organizers of the Division 1 Super Cup has moved the kickoff time of the competition from 5 to 4 p.m. The final of the competition between Liberty and Instructorman FC was initially scheduled to kick off at 5 p.m. later today, but due to the fear that the Electricity Company of Ghana might cut power in the course of the game, it has been moved forward. George Afukulenyo, a member of the organizing committee, has been speaking to my colleague Razak Musbao.
Yesterday, I think you were at the stadium and you saw what happened. For twice, it has replicated itself. And as a body, we thought it wise that we can't be sure about what may happen for the third time. So if it happened twice, then for the third time, we have to be wiser and change our ways.
So what you are talking about is lights going off?
It has to do with the lighting system.
You can't assure whether the lights will stay on or not. That's why you brought the game a bit earlier.
That's right. That's right. Because, like you know, it happened the last time. Last night, it's repeated. How sure are we that at the grand finale, it wouldn't happen? So as organizing body, we say no, let's shift the time to 4 p.m. so that we are sure that if ECD will fail us, if Hydro will fail us, at least God's light will not fail us.
Now let's hear from the head coach of Instructorman FC, Mohamed Gago, whose focus is to build a team capable of competing in the Ghana Premier League next season.
I came here to prepare my team. I came here to use this opportunity as a pre-season training, and it has turned out to be something that we all have to go for it. I mean, it's an opportunity given to me and given to these boys to be able to showcase and to let us know how ready they are to get into action coming when the season kicks off. I mean, Liberty Professionals are a good side. I am even surprised they couldn't qualify, because looking at the way they play a very good football, and they do a lot of ball possession, pressing here and there. They play also an attacking football. We have to just take it easy, take the pressure off the players and let them come out and do what they do best. But I know it's going to be a tough match.
Is that an assurance to the? Are you giving an assurance to the people of Instructorate that you're bringing the trophy home?
Well, there is never any assurance when football comes to play. I mean, you don't know who will win until you start and end. But we are coming out, like you said, to win a trophy. I like winning. I don't joke with my football.
Interesting.
No matter how small it is, I always want to win.
Still on something that has to do with organization of competitions, but now to the Africa Games 2023. There are fears that Ghana might not be ready to host the championship, which is expected to start on the 12th of August 2023. Well, Joy Sports caught up with the local organizing committee chairman, Dr. Ofosu Asare, who says that if government does not release monies on time, there's a possibility workers will not meet the deadline required for the country to host the games.
In that with this money that we are expecting, I should say, if that is released, it will, assist the contractors to fast track. Yeah. If you have money and you are building, you can even build during the day, build in the middle, have two shifts, have workers coming in and all that. And you can beef up your staff and get the work done as quickly as possible. Yeah. So, in my view, if we don't get the money on time, or if we delay in giving them the money, then it means we cannot meet the timelines. And if we can't meet the timelines, then it's going to affect the time schedule for the games. Even though I know that history, the African Games history, is replete with occasions where some countries had to shift. Some of the games had to shift to either the following year, 6 months addition and all that. So you have that window in the worst case scenario. We have that window. But because of the Olympics, we are hoping that 2024 will be, we know that 2024 will be very busy. Of course. So, but for that, we would have said, okay, after all, there's 2024. What's the big deal if we are not able to finish in 2023 or host it in 2023? But because of that, so it appears that we have our back to the wall, and we must try as much as possible to find money to finish the facilities. Even in the worst case scenario, we still will need money to use for the existing facilities. Let me give you a case in point. The Independence Square. Yeah. If you have money, you can put in temporary structures and have facilities there and host the games.
Games Village.
Yes. Okay. Here, for instance, we need to, if we're going to use it, but we need to have money to also refurbish.
And this is your sports for now, but we'll have more sports stories on my joyonline.com and also at 2 p.m. when we come your way with sports today. I am Muftau Nabila Ablai. Up next is World News.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews today. Now, music groups come and go. The story, however, seems different for the group Keche. Formed in 2004, the group has stayed together, entertaining Ghanaians with hit after hit. In a yet-to-be-aired episode of E-Vibes, the members spoke to me about what keeps them going.
To be honest, I know one thing for sure, that as Andrew said, we said earlier on, me and Andrew, we didn't really plan that we want to be group. We found ourselves going because the connection was there from day one, because we've known each other back in second day, third grade. So I always tell Andrew, from day one, I told Andrew that I want us to become one of the biggest group in Africa. And Andrew said, Charlie, we can make it, let's go. So I don't want to forget this dream, one. And two, sometimes when I look at Andrew, I remember here. Because I remember way back, there was this park around called Akozo, right? We prayed every day for like almost 1.5 years. Padmo. Every midnight, 1 a.m., me and Andrew would be on that park praying. A whole year, we never stopped, every day. I remember all these things. So what again will come and be like, because Andrew did this, because of some woman, some small money. So Andrew, go your way, I don't know you again. No, I can't do that. I'm not ready to disappoint the group, and how far we've toiled, like the hard work we've put in to make this brand one of the biggest in Africa now.
Away from that, she's been in the movie industry for more than a decade. However, actress Mercy Siedu says it's time to revive her music career. The actress is premiering a new single today.
Do you sing? Yes. Do you love, what?
Now on Thursday, dancehall artist Stonebwoy joined other Sherman residents for a cleanup exercise. The exercise was to mark the National Cleaning Day campaign launched by President Kojo. Stonebwoy's participation was geared towards his Ashaman to the World Festival, expected to come off in September 1 to 3. Stonebwoy right there. So Sherman to the World concert comes off on the 3rd of September, which is next weekend. NS, would you be going for the Sherman to the World?
Well, if you take me, I would go.
Well, I'm inviting you, so...
Right, so let's make a date then. Thank you very much.
Oh, good to see you. It's on Midday News. That's cute.
And I'll be watching this evening. Better behave with
please.
Kojo Grace. All right, so that's our show this afternoon. Many thanks for your company. You can log on to myjoyonline.com. You find more stories there.